Good morning. Welcome to RealE Talk with Lisa Wilson
and Tiffany Cofield,
where we speak fluent sarcasm. You know you're going to get it from me today because today we're going to talk about the exclusive right to sell listing agreement. This is a listing agreement, a contract in North Carolina that any seller will have to sign if they want to work with an agent. This is a bilateral contract, which means there's more than one person involved. So that would be the agent or the firm and the seller. So it's important to know what's in that document. Many of you may have received the document from your agent and just click, 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 signed away, and that was the end of it. I like to inform people. I think the public needs to be educated and know what's in there. And ask questions. I mean, that's what we're here for. We don't go through hours and hours of education and continuing education just to sit here and collect checks from people. That's not what we're about. We're about educating you and giving you more power over the transactions that you may face in the future. So what is in this agreement? We're not going to hit every detail because it is 13 pages long. It'll take forever. That's a whole series, folks. Anyway, any contract should have a beginning and an end date. So we fill in the day that it begins and the day that it ends at 11:59 p.m. on that date. And it's spelled out in here. So the terms of the agreement talk about the effective date, it talks about the expiration date, and then it goes into the property itself, where we would fill in the address and other pertinent information for the transaction. Then it talks about fixtures and exclusions. We never want to assume that certain things in the home are going to come with the sale of the house. And I'll be very upfront. I lost a refrigerator. I didn't lose it. The sellers took it with them the day of closing. And I ended up having to buy a refrigerator. You do the right thing. It wasn't my buyer's fault, but you make the situation the best it can be. So it spells out some of the possible fixtures and exclusions. And again, never assume and be specific. If something in this list is something you as a seller want to keep, it is filled in another page of this contract, spelling out exactly what it is that you're going to actually be taking with you that doesn't come with the house. So here are just a few examples of fixtures. Stoves, ranges, ovens, built-in appliances, attached microwaves, vent hoods, garage door openers. Mirrors attached to the walls, ceilings, cabinets or doors, and all bathroom wall mirrors. I've never seen ceiling mirrors, but we don't want to go there. We're going to skip that. Storage sheds and utility buildings, thermostats, things like that. It's an extensive list, but it's not all inclusive. When in doubt, ask. Smart devices. If you leave a smart device, make sure you unpair it before you move out of the house. We are going to disclose items that are leased and not owned. We're going to discuss personal property. So what's personal property? Personal property might be a chest freezer that is in a laundry room or something like that. Maybe you're leaving that. That's personal property. All of these things are spelled out in here. Maybe you have freestanding shelving in the garage and you're going to leave that. Great. But we need to disclose all this and make sure that any buyer is fully aware of what comes with the house and what doesn't come with the house. We will fill in the space for the listing price. We then fill in the firm's compensation or commission. So if the firm you're working with charges a 6% commission total, it would be filled in. It also lays out the terms of how an agent earns that fee. Then it goes into cooperation or compensation with other firms. And this is where the listing agent would fill in the blank and disclose how much of that 6% commission is being given to the buyer's agent. Make sure that's filled in, folks. It's very important, especially in this real estate climate. We then have a long list of the firm's duties, what you should expect as a seller from your agent in the firm that represents you. Because it's not just your agent, it's the entire firm. There's a small block here that talks about buyers leaving letters for the sellers or giving them letters to influence them to choose their offer. Don't do it. The Real Estate Commission frowns on these letters. You may be disclosing personal information about you and your family that you don't even know. So, ixnay on the etterlays, okay? Then it discusses when we can start marketing your house for sale. Another important date to keep an eye on. Coming soons, we can list a house as a coming soon to generate interest in the home. And those things are all disclosed in here as well. We disclose in here all the items for advertising. Can we put it on the internet? Can we put a lockbox on it? Can we put it in the MLS? Everything is spelled out in here. Also, another biggie is recording devices. It goes over cameras, video equipment. A lot of people now have Ring systems, Ring doorbells, Simply Safe, whatever kind of monitoring system you can think of, it's included in here. It is a crime under federal and state laws to listen to or record an oral communication through the use of any electronic, mechanical, or other device without consent of a party to that communication. I should say it may be. Every state is different. Buyers, if you're listening to this video, watch what you say in houses because sellers do listen. It's just a fact. It's our protective instinct, I guess. So just be aware that there are usually cameras and other video things going on in the house. Seller representations, we lay out how long you've owned the house, less than a year, more than a year, maybe you don't own it yet, maybe you inherited the home and a relative just passed away. So those things are disclosed in here. HOAs, fuel tanks, and termite bonds, things like that. We disclose if there's a lien on the house. Do you have a mortgage? Do you have a second mortgage? All those things are spelled out in here. We also, as agents, should be giving you sample forms of an offer to purchase and other documents so you can review them and discuss them. Oh, let's see. Fuel tank. I'm only on page 8, folks. And I'm skipping over a lot. The seller's duties. There's actually a section in here that describes what your duties are as a seller. Make sure you fill out the paperwork. Make sure the property's available for showings. I mean, you're not going to sell a house if nobody can look at it. And other things are listed here as well. It goes into the firm's duties a little bit more. And then there's a gray area here called additional terms and conditions. So you as a seller may have certain things that you want to happen for each showing. Maybe you want to say any agent showing the house has to wear purple. I mean, that's fine. I mean, don't get crazy about it, but as long as it's legal, your agent has to follow your lawful instruction. So don't be weird about it. Just, let us know if you think that something is important enough to put in this contract. Then we go into the biggie, dual agency. That is a discussion for another day, but the dual agency is so important it needs to be clearly explained to buyers and sellers because it does happen more often than you think. And it goes into the roles of your agent if dual agency comes up. Then there's an authorization, 2 spots where you are going to direct your agent to either work in be able to work in dual agency, or if you want exclusive representation during the transaction. Simple enough. But we want you to understand dual agency before you sign anything. And then there's a section on termination. Remember that word from last week? So what if you want to terminate your relationship or cancel your listing agreement? It spells out the what ifs in here. And just a couple other pages, a lot of personal information on the last one. Again, our goal is to educate you. We want you to ask questions. We want to be a resource. There are a lot of great agents out there that are going over these documents with their clients, and we love that. Again, knowledge is power. Ask the questions. If you don't, you're never going to have the answer, and there'll be so many what ifs, and we don't want that for you. As agents, we're better than that. So if you have more questions about the listing agreement itself, you know how to reach us. You call 866-9-OFF-ROAD. And while you're out today enjoying sunny weather, don't forget, beep at the Jeep.